Otherwise, I try to keep it very vanilla. Just because for me, I'm like, I just don't want to go into the explanations. I'll rather just say it this way. So you get into baseball, academically doing well, interested in the Navy. You go to college, though. How are you figuring out which college you want to go to? You brought up the Naval Academy. Is that something that's going through your mind?
Yeah, so I mentioned baseball because it kind of leapfrogged me into how I got started in the real world, right, after high school. So I was heavily recruited for baseball. I was a right-handed pitcher, throw hard, good SATs.
Yep.
You get
What
a
are
lot
your
of
stats?
calls.
Can we pull them up?
Yeah. So you, man, kids nowadays, you can see every fastball and the RPMs and how much they're curveball. It's not like that because half of my high school career was newspaper clippings.
Okay.
The other half was like weird scraping tools. But I did have a friend pull up, I went to a prospecting camp called Perfect Game where they, you pitch a couple innings, they prospect you, your parents pay for it, and their job is to get you into college. So like,
Got it.
yes, that stuff. If you search,
Come on, search them up, try to find the stats, pull them up right
Oh,
here.
it's this dude with little thin and rosy cheeks, thinking he's all cool, but it's very measurable in baseball. So if I'm a right-hand pitcher and I show up and I throw in high school 90, 91, okay, you're Division I, even if you're not throwing strikes.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to go to recruiting camps, get that. I had my eyes set on a school in the Northeast.
Okay.
I don't know why, because there's a lot of beautiful schools that you could play outside at.
Yeah.
I wanted there to be an engineering program, so that was going to be my path. And I'll just see what the best school I could get into. So I started getting recruited. Naval Academy. I got a few scholarships to places like St. John's, Boston College, Notre Dame, like really great places. And at the end of the day, you get to choose a few colleges that you could take an official visit. 48 hours as a college senior, you go experience the life. Coach takes you out to dinner. And so I had the ability to do that. I did not go to Notre Dame for that. I looked at their roster and they were all like 6'5" All-Americans. So I said, even if I went there, I'll never play. I didn't look at schools like BC or St. John's because they didn't have options for engineering. Even if that wasn't going to be my path, I'd love to have the option to do it.
Yeah.
And then my mother hung up on the Naval Academy when they called too late on a Wednesday night.
Really?
Yeah. That was, so there's rules around recruiting. They get to call once a week and it opens up. At that time, it was like on like a Wednesday. So Wednesday from 6 to 10 p.m., you would just be on calls. Actually, the stressful part was getting my homework done in that time.
Yeah.
A little bit of a nerd there. But I got a call. I still remember laying in bed. My parents' room was next door. Pick up the call. Boom, hang up the phone. 2 days later, I was like, Mom, who was that? He called after 10. You're not supposed to, but it was like 10:05.
Yeah.
Who was that? And she's like, don't worry about it. A few weeks later, she tells me it was the coach at the Naval Academy. Still an option, blah, blah, blah. I'll also mention my mom has a very different perception of the military than my father, who I was talking about.
Yeah.
And all of his father was in the military. My mom's father was enlisted Army technician and did a lot of stuff, but she saw it as the only option for him because he didn't have many options at the time. And he ended up running a restaurant and working at Bel Air Labs and doing that stuff. So she thought the military was if you didn't have anything else to do. Meanwhile, the other side of my family saying you get a chance to salute the flag, wear a uniform, and do some amazing stuff. And so I took to that, found it to be unequivocally true. But so that's the story of hanging up in the Naval Academy. And I really never called back. At that time, I was getting recruited by some Ivy League schools I thought were interesting. I took a couple official visits, and I ultimately made my choice between Yale and Columbia. The joke is thanks to the pizza. So the New Haven pizza in Connecticut.
That's a good old callback. I'm glad I made the pizza reference earlier.
I find ways to go out of my way to get pizza up there. But you go on these trips, and I was a pretty high recruit, like when it comes to pitchers out of Jersey. And so coaches take you out to dinner. Usually it's like one casual dinner and then like a steak dinner Friday and Saturday night. And then Sunday they do the hard sell in the office. Yeah. Will you sign here? By the way, these schools don't give scholarships. Yeah. Grants, financial aid, sure. They're just letting you in without a 1600 on the SAT back in the day. And so the coach from Yale went up to my parents and said, where would he like? Does he love steak? What's the best place he can do? they're like, honestly, he keeps talking about this pizza he had at Columbia. It was like one of those pizza slice places, big pizza slice for $4. Like, he keeps talking about that. I think if you really want to win him over, you got to take him to like Frank Pepe's, right, or Sally's. And so he did that. I loved it. I didn't care if it cost $400 or $14. I was in my heyday.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And those visits are just about exploring the team, going to practice. Yeah. I was wowed by all of it. I had a great host from New Jersey who ended up going into the Army as a Green Beret after school. And so I just connected, and it just felt like home, and the other places didn't. So
I'm curious as to how many people picked Yale just because of Sally's or Pepe's. Do you remember which one it was? Did you go to Sally's or Pepe's?
We went to Sally's, and it's not my favorite.
Really? Yeah. Which one's your favorite?
Pepe's.
Pepe's is good.
Oh, by far. And they're right. If you're not familiar with the geography, they're right next to each other.
Yeah.
So you see lines for both. You have to have an opinion is the thing. They're both delicious. They're both world class, but it's a different style.
I think because Pepe's was the first New Haven pizza I had, like something about that being the first makes me gravitate towards that. I don't know if this is a hot take. The White Clam pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And even I had done the Warrior Scholar Project through Yale. The cafeteria pizza that they do at Yale is no shit. Like, not on par, but a good substitute. If you don't want to go to Pepe's or Sally's, cafeteria, like Yale cafeteria pizza, incredible.
Yep. So there's my brother went to UConn, big school, big program, big cafeteria, everything an 18-year-old wants: Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and he bragged about it for 1 week, and then after that was it. There's benefits going to a smaller school. Yale's 6,000 undergrad, so not tiny, but 4 times the size of my high school with grad campus on board. It's about 10, 11,000. The food is delicious.
Yeah.
I still, to this day, when I go back to New Haven, I'll find a way into a cafeteria.
Yeah.
I'll sit down, and back in the day, you had no cell phones or anything else. So like that was the place you connected. And if you're on the baseball team and avoiding class, that's the place you stayed and didn't go to class. So
now, did you go to the oldest, I'm assuming you did, the oldest hamburger spot in New Haven?
Louis' Lunch.
Thoughts on that, and then which secret society were you in?
Cool.
Because apparently every single Yale student is in some sort of secret society.
Louis' Lunch is awesome. They're known for creating, the New Haven claims the hamburger they invented and Frisbee. So like I don't know if any of them are true, but